Get out!
Hello tankers and tankettes, welcome to one of my older replays. This one is kind of special to me and I'll explain why before I actually start it. This is from actually January of this year, so this is all the way back in patch 0.8.3, and that is incidentally why I've only got Jimbo's Crosshair and there's stuff in German because this is using the replays companion, and some of the old client data is actually in German, so there will be a link to that in the description below. Yeah, so why is this special? Well, for one thing, it's a Churchill 3. It's one of my most played tanks. In fact, it is my most played tank. I've got nearly 700 battles in this thing as of making this video. And for a long time, it was my only premium tank. It was my main money grinder. It was I used it and still use it extensively as crew XP grinder because this thing gets the best crew XP earning coefficient in the entire game. It's something like 1.3. It's absolutely crazy, and it's also why I have my Soviet heavy Uber crew that has they're up to 5 crew skills now, most of them. So yeah, that is in no small part thanks to the Churchill 3. So why else is it special? Well, it's the first time I came close to a Pools medal, and you've actually seen another replay in the Churchill 1 where I also came very close to a Pools medal. So far, both of my close brushes with a Pools medal have both been in Churchills of various kinds. And I just like the Churchill 3. I have liked it for a long time and I still like it. It's a fun machine, and it's one of the more fun premiums to play, I think, apart from its other benefits and bonuses. The one other thing I should explain about this replay before I start, I realise this is quite a long preamble, but like I said, this is a special replay to me. I had the most epic loss streak in this thing before this battle. I had lost, I don't know, we're talking 8, 9, 10, 11 battles in a row. It was at the point where this was getting personal, and normally the sensible thing is you just walk away and you just have a little break, or you go and play another tank, or you do something. But no, I was being stubborn. I wanted the win. I wanted to win in this machine, and oh boy, was I steaming by this point. So yeah, that's another reason why I remember it. So let's unpause. So what's the special feature of the Churchill 3? I will do a proper review at some point, actually. I should. It's my most played machine. It's the one I'm most qualified to talk about. It's the fact it is... I mean, it's lend-lease. For a long time, it was the only Churchill you could get in the game before the Mk.III was introduced. And you can see there, this was actually after the Mk.III was introduced, because there's a British Churchill over there. But that was one of the reasons that attracted me to it, was the fact that it was a Churchill. The only other two you could get were actually, well, there was 3, because the Tetrarch also is actually a British tank, but that's not one you could buy. The other 2 you could buy were the lend-lease Matilda and the lend-lease Valentine, which you still can, and you can still get this thing as well. But the real Valentine and the real Matilda are superior, generally speaking. But it's basically, it's the rate of fire, it's the 6-pounder gun, and the kind of occasional surprising... there we go, maybe this will be loss number 8. So I'd had 7 losses in a row before this, which was... yeah, and the reason I was being pessimistic is because there was no one on the other side. There was a single light tank. So yeah, what was I saying? Oh yeah, this is a 6-pounder gun. It's the pew-pew nature of the tank. It's all about the rate of fire, this thing. It's about... peppering your enemy with shots until they cry and just want to go home. So I'm on the beach side because, yeah, I'm the only heavy on this side. There's a couple of mediums in the town, but yeah, there needs to be someone on the beach side, really. Or at least I felt that there did. Bear in mind, I think I was a less good player. I certainly was a less good player at this point in the game. Also, note how much ammo this tank gets with this gun, and that's going to be important because I'm going to fire quite a lot of it. So here we go, first target, Type T-34. This is the guy! This is the guy I wish I'd managed to kill, because if I had killed him, it would have been a Pools. So he disappears, and I hopefully just keep pelting the space where he was. But no. Okay, so damage to KV1 tracks. Oh, artillery? Wait, what? Okay. I think I had about 2 or 3 crew skills in this tank already at this point, on this crew anyway. I don't think I had the IS-6 by this stage, but maybe, I can't remember. That's another reason why I've got my Soviet Uber crew so well trained, because they have the KV-5, the IS-6, and the Churchill-III, plus their home tank, which is the KV-4 these days. But they started off in the KV-1, which actually, you can get some flavour of what the Churchill-III is like if you play the KV-1 with the 57mm gun. So, yes, that's 2 targets down already. I don't have the damage indicator, so I don't know how much damage that's been, but not that much. And you'll see the disadvantage of the very fast firing nature of the quick pounder is quick pounder, 6-pounder. Quick pounder is kind of appropriate. It is the fact that you can reload before the aim circle actually closes, so that occasionally 1 health, 62. That was a really low roll, but I can get him. Oh, that poor little Churchill. Oh, side of a KV-1, yes please. This gun, or really any fast-firing gun with the, I can't remember what it's called, but the gunner skill that increases your chance of doing criticals. If you get the cyber tank, then yeah, it actually, you're in with a good chance of setting them on fire, which is, well, we'll see what happens. But it's only a small increased chance. It's only like 3% per shot, and you still actually have to hit them somewhere where it's actually going to cause a critical hit. So there we go, I managed to set that guy on fire. I've fired, what, 40, nearly 50 rounds of ammo already. 5 kills. I mean, this was an absolute shooting gallery. This was just, yeah. I was... That was like suppressive fire. That was completely machine gunning my enemies to death, and that's why I like the Churchill-III, because you can do that. So yeah, you'll have to excuse my, hey, this time I saved the day. Yeah, the fact that I'd had 7 horrible losses in a row, I was feeling a little peeved and feeling a little aggrieved and just a bit miffed generally. This is not usually my attitude when playing a game, but the fact that I'd had 7 absolutely mind-bogglingly bad games in a row. But these days I wouldn't do this. I wouldn't keep bashing my head against a wall over and over to get a daily. The only sometimes I do end up in this situation because I'm grinding a stock tank or whatever, and in that case it's not so much about you trying to get the daily, it's just you trying to get some XP, but it can still be frustrating, and I try not to do more than a couple of battles in a row if they're going to be really terrible. So, 6 kills, I've got my top gun already. We've probably got this. Probably. There's still a chance that we can fail horribly, but we've got a KV-1, we've got me, and I've got most of my health still. We've got a Stuart and a 38 NA and a Hetzer. Keep an eye on that Hetzer. He's not very good. So, on the other team, Churchill 1, Su-85 that we know the whereabouts of, enemy Hetzer, and this is, you know, pre-heat nerf Hetzer, so that's a dangerous opponent, especially for me, and an enemy M5A1 Stuart. And also keep an eye on that enemy M5A1 Stuart, because he is actually, yeah, you may not expect the enemy score list to be what it is, but look out for that guy in the score screens at the end. So, oh, someone's on cap. Okay. No, it's fine though, there's the Hetzer there. Our Stuart is actually going back, or is it our... Yeah, it's our Stuart. But there's a Hetzer right by the cap, like 100 meters away. It's fine, he'll decap. He'll move and do something, right? Right, maybe? Right? Hetzer? Hello? Okay. Anyway, this Hetzer in front of me, not enough to track him, but yeah, if I can take out this Hetzer, he's low health, that's not 1 shot for me, that's 2 shots, but oh, okay, Su-85 just took my track, so he's up there. I can't see him, so I'm going to back off. I can shoot that Hetzer, so I'm going to. And Su-85 misses. Yeah, he's a derp Hetzer. Fortunately for me, he's shooting HE, and it only takes my tracks, and does a little bit of damage, but yeah, I want to back up quite quickly, because an invisible Su-85 is a big threat. Meanwhile, The cap is up to 70 cap points. Our Hetzer has still not moved, and you might be thinking, oh, he's AFK. No, he's not. He is actually there. Our Stuart goes in, and actually I think manages to reset. There we go, the Hetzer's finally discovered how to move his tank. Well done, bravo, but look how perilously close we come to losing this because of one player that I don't even know. I suspect it was the Stuart that reset, because that Hetzer was just, yeah, maybe they only had like 300 battles, but even so, that is a fairly basic game mechanic. That is, if somebody's capping, you go and stop them capping. Especially if they're in a light tank and you're in a Hetzer. But there we go, he finally discovers how to fire his gun and actually takes the guy out. And hello! Well, there's that missing Churchill, who has been, I don't know, making sandcastles or something. But anyway, he's actually also got the 6-pounder gun, so clearly not fully elated. Wow, I've struggled so much for words there for no apparent reason. I know to shoot him in the turret face, he doesn't know to shoot me in the turret face, and he is actually angling, whether intentionally or unintentionally, but yeah, he's shooting at my hull there, and that's a waste of time with a 6-pounder gun. You gotta go for the turret face. And that's the big disadvantage of the Churchills, is with the... Actually, the Churchill 1 turret is better armoured than the Churchill 3 turret. Yeah, Jedi, we know you'd had a frustrating couple of, there's no need to brag, man, there's no need to brag. So, yeah, that is the big flaw of the Churchills, is the turrets. The Churchill 7 turret gets bouncier, but it's still a very flat face, and there's still plenty of stuff that can pen you, because bear in mind you're seeing tier 8s with that thing. Black Prince actually gets the best turret of all of them. And having played the stock Carnarvon, which is basically Carnarvon with the Black Prince turret and the 17-pounder gun, that actually feels bouncier than the upgraded Carnarvon turret. Although the upgraded Carnarvon turret is also pretty good, but the Black Prince turret has a strip of 200mm armour surrounding the edge of the turret face. It's still the same kind of turret design. It's got a flat face, but it's an altogether tougher beast than the Churchill 3 turret. So, yeah. I've been lucky in that I've had enemies that haven't... I had a bunch of enemies at first, the first 5 kills, they were all enemies that were at range. I had a KV-1 that sat side onto me, which is always a big mistake in a KV-1. And by the time they realised their folly and tried to turn their tank, I'd actually tracked them and then proceeded to set them on fire. So I had a kind of an easy time of it for the first couple of kills, but I think it was the sheer relief of finally getting a win. And a bit later than party KV-1, but hey, yeah, that was a bit, maybe just a tiny little bit sarcastic, maybe, yeah. Well, like I said, frustration level had been high, followed by relief level being higher, so I want the KV-1 to basically sit on the cap to act as bait. Our Hetzer, wow, is... he's gunning our cap, you guys! Which, to be fair, okay, the Su-85 might have gone for our cap, but the fact that there's 2 of us, we would have outcapped anyway. It wouldn't have mattered if they had. So I'm just going to go look. I think he might be round to the left. I'm not sure. But, oh, okay, no, there he was. He was lying in ambush. He's quite low health. First shot misses. And he's actually relatively fast firing, but I managed to get him. And I get off 3 shots by the time that KV-1 has actually... he wasn't even turning his tank to, turn his turret faster, to get his gun on the guy faster. He was just... yeah, I fired 3 shots by the time he'd even fired 1, so there you go. So, what was the final result of that that massive relief of the game? And yeah, it was actually, like I said, the closest I'd come to a pools at that point, and for a long time it was the only time I'd come close to a pools until the Churchill 1 game that I've also showed you. I got a Radley-Walters though, I got Steel Wall, and I got Top Gun. 2,668 damage, which was respectable, and even more respectable when you look at the damage that the rest of the team did. 330 was the person in second place. 337 was the person in third place. Person who did, I mean, the next down the list in terms of damage was that KV1 with 500 damage, a Grilla with 459 damage, and let's see, that 38NA actually beat a lot of the tier 5s with 337 damage. So most of our team was pretty severely lackluster. Fortunately, a lot of the enemy team was quite lackluster as well. Look at who the top scorer on the other side was. Mk.III Stuart with 1,136 damage. Now that was really good matchmaking for a Stuart, and he took full advantage of that. Next down the list was that Hetzer with over 1,000. Actually, no, the Hetzer did well. He did more damage, but he got a less good score. Most of the enemy team tier 5s were not terribly good, and that is how I was able to carry that off, basically, because I came up against a bunch of enemies. You know, most of our team were frankly not very good, but I was up against a bunch of enemies that also were frankly not very good, and that meant I could clean up without taking too much damage myself. The only time I actually took any serious amounts of damage was right at the end there, when the Su-85 was able to shoot into the side of my vehicle. So yeah, 2,668 plus a further 450 spotting damage. So close to a bull's, so close. I fired 87 shots there, 87 out of 140, so that's where that high ammo count comes very useful. And for my efforts, I'd got a grand total of, and this was without premium, and for a while this was my best score in any tank, was 2,129 XP. It's not uncommon to see people with a Churchill 3 having their best score in a Churchill 3 because of that XP modifier that you get. But even so, I feel like I kind of earned that. And because it was a ×3, that was my daily. After 8 attempts, I actually walked away from that battle with over 6,000 XP, and that's before. That's without premium, rather. If I'd had premium, it would have been close to 10,000, that's a nice result in any tank. So yeah, hopefully you'll appreciate why this was one of those matches that I feel a certain nostalgia for even now. I've had better matches since, but that's probably the first really, or it felt outstanding at the time, and I can look back now and I can say, okay, yes, the nature of the match meant that you only had to be half competent and have a decent number of hit points to actually clean up at the end there. But I think it was such a relief after 7 horrible losses in a row that it sticks in the mind even now. So yeah. So if you enjoyed this replay, you can hit the like button, you can leave a comment, you can subscribe to my channel, and of course, as always, stay tuned for more.